Welcome to the St. Dinfna Hotel, where our guests will be able to experience luxury in the best way possible. From our unreliable elevators to our death trap escape rooms, every individual is accommodated. Looking for something a little more special? Try our burning inferno hallways or take a dip in one of our famous blood-soaked spa tubs.
Whoa, wait a second. Blood-soaked tubs? What kind of hotel is this?
Only the finest hotel with around-the-clock concierge help and nightly hallucinations for sleepless stays.
Okay. This sounds downright terrifying.
Indeed. At the St. Dinfna Hotel, we offer the most excruciating experience available. Open 24 hours a day, we guarantee you will lose your mind before departing, alive or dead.
A shower sounds amazing right now.
Okay, enough with the theatrics. Fobia St. Dinfna Hotel by developer Pulsatrix Studios is a survival horror game with a mix between Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Keeping with the theme of waking up, and being groggy, you're not really sure what happened. All you know is you're Roberto, a journalist asked to investigate strange happenings around the hotel. You kind of get your feet wet early on, learning that you will indeed be involved with a lot of puzzle solving. That and searching for items such as keys, tools, and weapons to help you progress through the hotel. What's odd though is when the hotel turns from a nice, quaint experience into a dark, destroyed maze full of horror. The thing I enjoyed about Fobia was it knew when to push you in a certain direction and when to let you figure things out on your own. Yes, that means there are going to be times where you need to backtrack, to see if you missed something, or you might have just found an item and you need to unlock that mysterious lockbox that, you couldn't unlock earlier. Unfortunately, these lockboxes can at times be a little underwhelming when it comes to their rewards. I didn't really enjoy spending a ton of time looking for these boxes and not being able to open them, and then coming back and being able to open them only to find some bullets and bandages. Like, for real, give me some meat and potatoes, please. The puzzles in Fobia can range from simple to intricate. For example, some might just require you to match a few symbols together, while others might require you to follow a riddle and highlight certain objects in order of the riddle. You get what I'm saying? I know. However, the ones that really got me were when you would have to find another item just to continue on with the puzzle you were already working on. I have to admit though, as much as I did enjoy these puzzles, they did eventually grow annoying. Not because they weren't good, but because there are so many in the game. Here's what makes it even crazier. You're armed with a camera, and this camera, when used, acts like a link to another time. You will need to use it often, because in this other timeline, you will find secret passages or like safes that weren't there before. You check this out, you can even find ammo and healing items, in the times in a spot where they weren't previously. There was nothing, and then all of a sudden, when you use the camera, there they are. It's kind of cool. I loved this about the game. It made for some very tricky situations and honestly had me stumped at times. So be prepared to put your thinking cap on and leave it on. Fobia isn't going to offer a great deal of combat, and when it does, there isn't much in the way of enemy variety. You'll be equipped with a choice from a pistol, shotgun, or a machine gun. Of course, the bigger guns, they take up more space in your inventory, which the inventory is just like the Resident Evil's inventory system. Each item takes up space, with some items taking up more than others. You can move around items to free up space, and you can actually find upgrades to add more space throughout the game. Back over to the combat, which isn't dreadful, but it isn't great either. Basically, what you're trying to do is aim for the enemy's heart, which seemed to work sometimes, and then sometimes it didn't. I think there's maybe one other type of enemy in the game that you get to shoot at that doesn't really, you're not aiming for the heart for that, but like I said, there's normal enemies roaming throughout the game, not a big variety. The enemies do help add a little more suspense to the game, especially when the bosses show up, because there are some boss fights. There isn't many boss fights to deal with, but the few that are in the game were fairly decent. I don't think Fobia is centered around its combat though. What you're grasping for is finding out what happened and why you are in the middle of it all.
Hey, I saw you back there on the bridge. Hey!
Christ, I'm losing my mind.
Despite the lackluster combat, I really enjoyed what is going on with our protagonist. Better yet, I thoroughly enjoyed when you got to play as another character in the game. I don't think that's a spoiler. Hopefully it's not. This adds so much to the story and brings up question after question of what's going on. What in the world is going on? Intrigued, I pushed forward, even though things got creepy as hell. But it did help up to break the monotony. As far as how the game looks and plays, I'd have to say it looks pretty good, for the most part. Character models are not all that impressive, but you don't run into those situations often, so it's not really that big of a deal. Your surroundings don't change all that much either, but for the most part, everything is done nicely and helps with setting the tone of the game. The voiceover work was actually quite impressive when compared to other indie games in the genre. So kudos to the voice actors. And that brings me to my biggest gripe of the game, the head bob. I don't know why this is still a thing in games, and if so, why isn't there an option to turn it off? Thankfully, I got used to it by mid-game, but good lord, was it difficult to handle starting off. Please, devs, if you're listening, let us have the option to turn off head bobbing. I mean, come on. I didn't come across a bunch of bugs in the game, but I did get a few. For example, late in the game, my character decided to act as if he was Atreyu sloshing through the swamps of sadness.
Oh, please! I won't give up! Don't quit on me!
Yes, I did that. I had to restart the game in order for the bugs to fix itself. Other than that, nothing major happened. No crashes or anything like that. So, the game ran fairly well. At the end of my stay, I have to say I enjoyed it. The game isn't breaking new grounds here, but it's definitely scratching every little itch I want in a horror game. There are scary moments, and some grotesque ones as well. It's not a perfect game. The puzzles overstay their welcome, and the head bob. Ugh, the head bob. Again with the head bob. But, and I say but, I still think the positives of this game outweigh the negatives. I mean, I love the storage system. There's save spots everywhere throughout the game. I must have saved, I don't know, 30 something times I think in this game. Maybe probably close to 40. And I mean, you have a storage chest that you can actually store your items into in most save areas, so that's pretty cool, and it kind of acts like a little safe area for you. The camera use was a nice touch, and overall I thought the story was fun. Let me put it this way: the average time to beat Phobia is around 7.5 hours, I think. It took me 13. So yeah, I had fun playing this game. I reviewed the game on the PS4 Pro, and Phobia is out now on PC, Xbox consoles, as well as PlayStation consoles. Thank you for watching my review. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed Phobia. I've been on a pretty good kick lately of horror games, and this one is right up there with the other ones. I had a lot of fun playing it. It's not anything new, you know. You're not getting a lot of stuff in the games, and you're not gonna be like, wow, well this hasn't been done yet. You know, it kind of has. The puzzles are pretty great though. You know, even though there's a ton of them. I mean, a lot and everything. But I enjoyed it. You know, the game looks good. The voiceover work is done really well. So yeah, the game was fun, and you know, I don't see any reason why not to take a chance if you love survival horror games. This definitely probably should be one that you would enjoy. So yeah, again, thanks for watching the video, and as always, Indian, brah.